Hi guys. I was asked to do a couple videos, and this one is going to be geared towards my experience with in-home nursing. I've kind of had everything from amazing and awesome to batshit crazy. No joke. Excuse my language, but I've had it all. I've got a little bit of experience here. We started in-home care with my son Nathan in April of 2013. We have had in-home nursing ever since. It started out just the 5 days a week. We now get 6, but that's because he had a G-tube placement, so we were allotted more hours in addition to our respite and what insurance was already giving us. So I was kind of skeptical at first. It's kind of weird having someone in your house 8 hours a night. But my son's seizures are pretty bad, and it's kind of hard to do it all by yourself. If nothing else, if I have to call 911, they can go with him in the ambulance, and my other son and I can take my car. 1, so we're not stranded, and 2, I have nobody to watch my son, so it does help. So I was kind of torn. Do I place my son in care? Because it was really hard, and I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could take care of him. Or do I try in-home nursing? I actually had an appointment for both options on the same day. The in-home nursing company was supposed to come first. They came. And after talking to them, I felt a lot of relief. They were really informative. They made me feel better. I got to be very picky about the kind of people I want in my house. I'm actually opposed to male nurses only for the fact that I'm a girl. I'm by myself all the time in the house. I need to feel comfortable. I have to take showers and stuff when this guy is here. I just feel more comfortable with a female. Plus, they're a little more maternal. And that's not because I discriminate against male nurses. I think they're wonderful. I've had plenty in the hospitals with my son. I just think in an in-home care setting, I prefer to have a female nurse. So a lot goes into choosing a nurse, first of all. They ask you so many questions. And then you interview nurses. And the first one I talked to, I was over the top excited. She was amazing. And she ended up being our first nurse. And she stayed with us for 14 months. She was awesome. She handled Nathan really well. She was a great addition to our family. And we still stay in contact. And this is 2.5 years later. Then we've had a lot of fill-ins. They're just kind of annoying because they don't know everything. And it's not annoying. It's just you have to dedicate so much time to teaching people everything. My son has a G-tube. He has medications. He has specific routines. Certain things that he can and can't eat because he has eosinophilic esophagitis. He can have like ice cubes. Not really, but I mean his diet is very limited. We're doing the elimination diet with him, and it's super hard because the one thing he can't enjoy, he can't sit, stand, walk, crawl, really talk, hand-eye coordination, can't feed himself. He does enjoy food. So for the GI doctor to now tell me that he can't enjoy all the foods he loves, like pudding and yogurt, or bread, or any of the other things, is a little rough. But nonetheless, we're getting through it, and I found some pretty cool recipes, and he likes them. So luckily, he's not a very picky kid. So I have to dedicate at least a week, possibly 2, to training each nurse. I don't want to dedicate time training a nurse if they're not going to be staying with us for long. We're a permanent position, and it is hard because you have to fill somebody out. They might be great during the interview, and then 3 days in, you're like, what did I get myself into? I've had those situations. They were not great. I had another situation where a nurse was with us for 1 month after my first nurse, and she just didn't call the company anymore, stopped showing up to work, totally disappeared off the face of the earth. Then I got another nurse, and she was with us for 6 months. She was crazy, and I don't mean like, oh, she was a little weird. No, like, I think she legitimately had psychological issues. I used to work for a bowling alley. I'd have powder packets of powder for your hands, so when you sweat, the ball doesn't slip, you have better grip, etc. She told my cousin that she'd have to report it because she's a mandated reporter. She thought it was cocaine. Didn't ask me. First of all, if I had a habit, I wouldn't leave it on the table. Second of all, it was sitting there for 2 weeks. If I had a habit, it wouldn't last me that long. And third, you're just assuming things. You're talking to a 16-year-old about it. Not a great look on your part. She also called me in a panic saying that my child could not swallow. Not the case. She didn't know. She would fall asleep on the job several times. She's very unprofessional. She'd wear low-cut shirts, crop tops, and she was in her 40s, which, hey, if you've got it, work it, but not professional when you're at work. I don't really care how my nurses dress. They can wear their scrubs. They can wear their civilian clothes, as the company likes to call it. I don't care. You could show up in sweatpants. Doesn't bother me. But she had a boob job, and she was very proud of her body, which is great. I wish I was that confident, but there's a time and a place, and that just was not the case. But that wasn't really my problem, but it just adds to the list. Towards the end, she was very upset with the company. She kept talking about wanting to get unemployment, that she wasn't happy, that she didn't want to work with them anymore. Would I switch companies so she could still be with my son? And it got so bad that she was looking for an out on the company and lied to them about what we were doing in our home. And we had to be investigated just because she didn't want to work anymore and she wanted to collect unemployment. She literally did it 6 months to the day after her start date because she thought she'd be able to collect unemployment, which was not the case. She told them that we're alcoholics. I don't even drink. If I do, it's on a very rare occasion, maybe one drink, and I only drink pina coladas, so there's not a lot of alcohol in them. It's a lot more fruit than anything. That we had parties all the time. I had my in-laws here for the holidays. 2 people in my house for Christmas Eve. Not a lot. She'd forget to give him his medicine, so his seizures would be worse. She would call out of her shift an hour before. I don't care if my nurses want the holidays off, but you want the holidays off before the holiday approaches. It's no big surprise when Christmas or Thanksgiving's popping up. But don't tell me you want to work a holiday and then an hour before your shift call and say you're not going to come in, because I have to change all my plans. I was already home. I pulled into my driveway as I got the call. I could have spent more time with my family and not rushed to get home for a nurse I wasn't going to have. She also said that my cousin, who the 16-year-old I was talking about, pushed her. She was literally crazy. She would take pregnancy tests all the time and leave them around my house. My husband asked me questions about them. I don't know. That's not me. I wouldn't take a pregnancy test and set it on top of a cupboard. That's disgusting. So it was bad. And then we had another really great nurse. I was kind of skeptical after that last one. I didn't want nursing anymore. I was to the point of no return. And then we met our other nurse, and she was amazing. We loved her. She ended up staying with us probably 6 or 8 months, but she ended up getting another job and moving. So we lost her. And then we had one for 5 days. My son is highly, highly allergic to peanuts, so I don't allow nuts of any kind in my house. Seeds, any of that stuff. We had this discussion. The nurse would drop the R-bomb all the time. I don't use the word retarded. I think it's horrible. It's just as bad as using the N-word, in my opinion. She would use that word all the time, and not in the medical sense at all. She would say, and kids today are so retarded, and I couldn't do it. My 7-year-old was, no. He did not like it. He told me, Mom, she's got to go. She called out on the 3rd day that she was supposed to be here. She showed up half an hour late every day, never called or anything to let us know, which is really hard when you have other things you have to do. She was very pushy. She wouldn't listen to my suggestions of how I like to do things for my child. And then she was eating pistachios and talking in his face and touching him. And that's when I called the company and said, I can't do this anymore. We need to find somebody else. So I've been without nursing off and on a lot. And then we had our last nurse, Zippy. She was amazing. She was actually pregnant, which my criteria, I just want somebody who doesn't have small kids or is about to get married or any big life-changing situations that I know they're going to be missing a lot of work because, again, I have to dedicate a lot of time to training everybody. She went on maternity leave. She had her baby 2 days ago. But she'll be coming back. So I have another nurse now. She's fine. It's just a lot of work trying to get used to people, trying to get them into a routine, and it's exhausting. I have nursing because I'm tired. I have dinners to cook. My other son needs to get ready for school. I have baths to give. I have a house to clean. I have things going on in my life, and when I have to dedicate a lot of time, and again, if the nurses don't stay, it's very frustrating. So my recommendation to anybody who is considering to be a home health nurse, be very considerate of your patients and their families. You are in their home. I personally want my nurses to feel like a part of the family. I want them to be able to just go in the fridge and grab water and be comfortable. A lot of places aren't like that, but I want my nurses to be as comfortable as possible in my home, because if they're not comfortable, I'm not comfortable, and I don't want to feel uncomfortable or like a stranger in my own home. Who does? So be respectful of the way people want you to do things. There's just things that I know work. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. My son is, 4.5 years old now. I know how I want things done. Please just listen to your patients and their families. If you're not comfortable with something, speak up. If you have questions, please ask them. We love that. If you are a patient or a caregiver and is considering home health, I suggest writing a lot of things that you want. Write a 24-hour schedule. Even if you only have nurses between 3 and 11, have a 24-hour schedule. You never know, might be a day where they need to come in, or something to the effect might need to happen. Be very thorough during the meet and greet process. Be very thorough with the company. Be very honest about what you want, because they will just throw in somebody that's just not a match, and you end up pretty unhappy and uncomfortable. So these are my suggestions. These are my experiences. I really hope that they help you, and good luck.